Hey y'all, it's Crystal at MrsHappyHomemaker.com, and I'm in my kitchen, and y'all, I have whipped up something super delicious for y'all today. So I made some pot roast a couple of days ago, and I wanted to use it up. So I had a brilliant idea. I took my mama's buttermilk biscuit dough, and I put cheddar cheese and garlic inside of it, and then I rolled it out into a rectangle, spread the leftover pot roast that I chopped up really small on top of it, and then put some more cheese, and then took more of the cheddar garlic buttermilk biscuit dough and put it on top of it, sealed the edges all the way around, baked it off, and then when it came out, I cut it in little squares just like this. And y'all, it's like so this is basically like a cheddar garlic buttermilk biscuit pot roast Hot Pockets. This is amazing. So let me show you how easy it is to throw together. So we're gonna start off with the cheesy garlic biscuits. I've got 4 cups of self-rising flour here, and I put that in my bowl. Now I'm gonna add to this a 1/2 cup of Crisco, which is vegetable shortening. So I am just mixing up all of this shortening into the flour. I am using my fingers to break apart the clumps of the shortening and mix it in with the flour to where the flour resembles like small peas. Now to this mixture, I'm gonna add 1½ cups of buttermilk. And I'm just gonna stir that in. Now when it's almost completely combined, I'm gonna add about a tablespoon worth of garlic powder. I'm gonna measure that in my palm. And I'm gonna add 1 8-ounce package of shredded cheese. This is actually cheddar jack. Sometimes I use sharp cheddar, sometimes I use cheddar jack. Whatever kind of cheese that you want. Cheesy. And I'm just gonna mix this all together. Now, depending on your altitude or the thickness of buttermilk that you use, you may have to use an extra 1/4 cup to a 1/2 cup in order to get the thickness or the consistency that you need. Now I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit of flour on my work surface so my dough does not stick when I spread it out here. Gonna dust my hands with a little bit of flour. End up patting it down into a big giant rectangle. Now you'll want your big dough rectangle to be about 1/4 inch thick. You could use your rolling pin too, but the hands are just so much more fun. Now I've got a baking sheet sprayed with non-stick baking spray that I have set aside, and I'm gonna take 1/2 of my big giant biscuit rectangle and put it on the baking sheet. Now to make this easy, you can put a piece of wax paper or parchment paper underneath your dough before you roll it out into your big giant biscuit rectangle, or as I do, is I just kind of carefully roll the biscuit dough towards me, and if you've properly floured it, it should not stick. And I take it to my baking sheet. I'll put it down here so you can see. And then I just roll it back. Just like that. Now I have leftover pot roast. This is a pot roast, a chuck roast that I cooked with carrots, onions, and potatoes. I took the leftovers, mashed up the carrots and the potatoes and the onions, and I diced up the leftover pot roast super, super small. And just combined it into a bowl. And I'm gonna spread this on top of my cheddar biscuit dough. And so I have got it spread all across the biscuit dough, just like that. Now I'm gonna add another sprinkling of cheddar jack cheese to the top of this pot roast. And again, you can use any kind of shredded cheese that you have. I just really like the cheddar jack with this. And I'm just gonna roll my biscuit rectangle up, set it on top here, just the size you can see it a little bit better. And I'm gonna roll it back on top of my pot roast and cheese. I'm going to press down the edges with my fingers and seal it up. I have melted a couple tablespoons of butter, and I am just gonna brush this butter on top of my pot roast stuffed biscuits. I've got my oven preheated at 400 degrees. I'm about to go put this bad boy in. All right, the pot roast stuffed biscuits have finished cooking. I cooked them on 400 degrees for about 20-25 minutes until the top was nicely browned. And I am going to brush some melted butter on top. And you don't have to do this, but I mean, biscuits just taste so much better with a little bit of melted butter on top when they come right out of the oven. And actually, I think I like this better for slicing the biscuits than I do the pizza cutter in terms of slicing up the cooked biscuit because it keeps it from crumbling. I will post a link for my little rockin' blade that I like in the description if y'all want to check it out. This is one of the best things that I have made, that I have eaten in a very, very long time. I cannot believe how good this pot roast tastes inside of this buttermilk biscuit. Yum.